I got you.
It'd be fun too, man. What better way to close it out than by closing out this run, revisiting, going through it. 34 matches. You and I picked our top 10 pay-per-view matches of this run. And we're doing pay-per-views because, that's our original gimmick of this show. We cover a lot more of the TV than we did when we were beginning. And, dude, there were some great non-pay-per-view matches during this run. And, honestly, they would have taken up probably half the spots in my top 10 if we were doing it.
Oh, yeah.
What are some of your, off the top of your head, some of the best non-pay-per-view matches before we get into the top 10 pay-per-view ones?
That one we just covered with him and Angle.
Yes.
That one was
awesome.
Fantastic. I really liked, obviously the Jeff Hardy one was another one that stands out. He and RVD had another one on Raw back during that time.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was really, really
That's
fantastic,
one I was going to
too.
mention, for sure.
Yeah, those are really good ones, so I appreciated those.
He had some good ones with Austin during this time, too. We've always said his TV matches with Austin were better than the pay-per-view ones.
Yeah.
So there were some good ones during this time that the crowd was into. So definitely worth going back to some of these old Raws and SmackDowns and finding some of those. But let's run through our top 10 pay-per-views. Do what we did last time and just go back and forth, one match at a time.
That sounds good. I think I started first last time, so you can start first this time.
I will. And man, I may be throwing a curveball with you here on this first one. I don't know if this one made your list, but we were talking beforehand. It was tough to get like the 10th match on our list. We both were saying, we could come up with the top 5 pretty quickly. Maybe not the order, but we knew what the 5 best were. But kind of slim pickings as far as a 10 that you want to really put into that top 10
exactly.
slot. But here we go, man. I would not have guessed this at the beginning. My 10th match on my list is Taker versus Big Show from No Way Out 2003. I really enjoyed that match so much more than I thought I would. I liked the psychology of it. This is the one where Taker really was doing the MMA stuff and busted out the armbar in there. And that match surprised me by how much I enjoyed it. So I slotted it in there at number 10.
Wow. Well, I did not see that coming. Yeah, you took me by surprise. You're right. So, but is that the one where he pulls out the Hell's Gate for the first time?
That's the first time he really does that. And I thought it was really good storytelling.
It was.
Simple, basic, but entertaining.
Yeah, some of these matches I'm going to have on here are good because of the storytelling. And they may not be the best matches themselves, but the storytelling is what kind of gets them on here. But yeah, like you said, trying to round out my numbers 8, 9, and 10 were kind of tough. First 5 kind of came to me, and but this is the one I'm going to choose at number 10. I kind of had to take myself back to the years that these matches happened to, and think about my excitement for them back then. Also, my excitement for now, going back through and really revisiting them. And just looking at them as a snapshot of where they were in history, though. So my number 10 is going to be another surprise, probably. This is the winner-take-all Team WWF for Team Alliance from Survivor Series 2001.
All right.
Episode 80. So I made it on there. Just because of maybe the end of the Alliance, maybe just how much talent was in there. And it was just a fun match. It was just fun. Even though Taker wasn't involved in the final finish of it, it was basically came down to those 4 WWF guys, but it was just a fun match overall. And like I said, it kind of put the kibosh on the Alliance. So.
It did, man. That's a great match and very fun. We did a watch along for it. If you guys want to go back there and listen to that, we had a lot of fun talking about that one. I respect that pick. Good, solid choice. Number 9 for me, I mentioned Taker and Stone Cold had much better TV matches, but I did choose one of their pay-per-view matches. They had a few during this run, but I picked Judgment Day 2001, Undertaker versus Stone Cold. Just going back and going through the list of these matches, I remember the crowd being so hot for this match. It's got a crappy finish, I think, but this is where I think they peaked. I think this is their best pay-per-view match between these two. The storytelling, the intensity, both guys really brought it right here. And this was probably the peak for me of Stone Cold's heel run. I thought he was actually at about the best he ever did as a heel in this spot. Because then then after this, we go off into a cliff of the Alliance stuff. So that was my number 9, Judgment Day 01.
That's respectable. I see that. I think I just been so burnt on their pay-per-view match, I didn't even consider that one because he doesn't show up on that. Does not show up on mine. So. Yeah. But I see that. I did look at that one, so I see that. Well, my number 9 is going to be from our episode 67. This is Survivor Series 2000.
Yeah.
Taker versus Kurt Angle.
Okay.
But the reason I put this on there is because I went back and was looking at my notes and reading it, and because it reminded me of those 1997 matches. It reminded me of him versus Brett, him versus Shawn, just the way they wrestled. And again, and Kurt Angle is still green here. I mean, he'd already been, he was already the champion, right?
Kurt Angle was the champion. Yep.
Yeah.
He won it the month before.
That's right. This is his first event, but he's still green here, and this has the cool ending with Eric Angle. The first time we see that, so it just I don't know, it's because it reminded me of the '97 matches and how good those were. I put it down as my number 9. So
absolutely, man, that is going to make my list here in a little while. So I enjoyed that match quite a bit. These guys had incredible chemistry. It got better every time they wrestled.
Yes,
and we're going to get to see some more of it here in the future, but. My number 8 is going back to your number 10. I put that Survivor Series match in there. I had it a little bit higher, honestly. I thought it was a great match, but I moved it back down because Taker is in it so little.
Sure.
He's one of the first couple guys eliminated in it, so it was hard to count it as a great Taker match. I didn't include any Royal Rumbles in there either,
for that
just because they're not really about him. But I felt like this one is enough. He's in it enough, and it is such a good match. I had to put it in the top 10 in some place, so it is my number 8.
Well, respectable.
Yeah,
absolutely. Man. So, my number 8 is episode 96, Vengeance 2003, Taker versus John Cena. Just a coming out party for Cena, and I cannot put over the psychology of this match enough. I remember during our episode talking about how they tore the edge off the barricade, the padding off there, worked on the midsection, Taker's coughing up blood. Just the constant psychology was fantastic to me. I really liked that, so I enjoyed it a lot. So that's my number 8.
I did too. It's actually not on my list. I didn't put Taker and Cena on my list, man.
I'm surprised.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more watching it back than I originally did. But I don't know. I just didn't click with me on the top 10 level, which is, some people might find crazy that I put a Big Show match on there instead of that.
And I thought you would have this one on because of the story about you and your girlfriend at the time, too. That's probably some crack there. So.
Yeah, that's it. Number 7 for me, going to be the first appearance of Brock Lesnar on my top 10. Going with the Unforgiven 2002 match between those guys at number 7. Again, it's kind of the story of a lot of these matches. It doesn't have a great finish to it. It's a no contest, but you do have that big spot at the end where Taker throws him through the set. But man, you were right last week. 2 out of 3 times these guys killed it, and the first match was an awesome setup for the second match that we pointed out was reminiscent of the Shawn Michaels Undertaker series from a few years before that as well. So that's my number 7, Unforgiven 02.
We'll see that coming up soon on mine too. I love that. Yeah, just the echo and how it echoes that Ground Zero match between Shawn and Taker was excellent. So I love that. Well, my number 7, it could be a curveball. It's the Invasion Inaugural Brawl.
Wow.
Episode 76. And because of the nostalgia of it, I think again. Put yourself in me in 2001. I was there when the Invasion was born, so I was extra hyped for it, especially for this particular pay-per-view. Again, we all know after this it goes downhill, but the Inaugural Brawl, I was a really big fan of it. Taker has a very prominent role, as one of the leaders there of the team, and I just really, really, this whole pay-per-view I love from top to bottom. It's fun. We talked about it. But, it's just, I think from more nostalgia purposes, it's up there on my number 7. I couldn't get away with top 10 and not put it on there. And so It may be a little higher. If I went back and redid it, it might be a little higher. But I definitely, at the time I wrote this, that's it.
Might be higher.
I mean, lower. I'm sorry, lower.
Oh,
higher on my screen, lower on. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Man, I'm shocked at that one. I did not see that one coming into place.
I knew you would.
Didn't make my list. No, it's not.
I didn't think it would make your list.
I understand what you're saying, though. It is a fun match. It is a fun match. Again, Taker doesn't play into finish to that one, or he kind of screws his team over at that one. But interesting.
And again, these bottom 4 were hard to pick. Like what goes at like from this on, it's really these top 6 were pretty easy for me. So
yes, they're easy for me in that they made the list, but it was tough for me to maneuver them around my list. So number 6 for me. Some people are going to say this is too low, but I'm putting versus Triple H, WrestleMania X7 as my number 6 match. It was very good, but it did not cross the threshold of great for me, which I think the next 5 did. It was just a notch below. Some little nitpicky things like the ref being unconscious for 10 minutes and just
he was asleep for a long time.
It's all over the place, but it's fun. It's a great match. I think it's Undertaker's first really, really good WrestleMania match. I've got his first great WrestleMania match coming up shortly. Yeah.
Well, very good. Very respectable there. Can't fault you for that. It's definitely in my top 6 as well. So my number 6 here is episode 91. It's going to be Unforgiven 02. Like you said, Taker versus Brock for the title. We've already covered that with yours. So mine's right there at number 6.
Yeah,
so.
We just flip-flop spots right there.
Yeah.
Number 5 for me is one you already mentioned as well. I put it a good bit higher versus Kurt Angle, Survivor Series 2000. Just again, that one kind of caught me off guard by how good it was, despite Undertaker's pants.
Godfather's pants.
Enjoyed it quite a bit and made my top 5.
There you go. Well, rounding out my top 5 here is from episode 81. This is Vengeance 2001, the WWF Hardcore title, Undertaker versus RVD. Just fun all around. RVD shown like a star. Got put again, all these guys get put on the map with these Taker matches, and just really fun. You could tell Taker was having fun in there with RVD, and just the beginning of that hardcore title run is just really, really fun. So
absolutely
loved it.
Star-making performance for RVD.
5 star.
I would say so. Number 4 for me is a three-way triple threat match from Vengeance 2002 with The Rock and Kurt Angle. Man, Kurt Angle had so much chemistry with him. I could watch these guys fight forever.
Yeah.
That match was so much fun with them stealing each other's finishers and just a great crowd. It's the end of Taker's title run, and I loved it. I loved every second of that match, and could have been higher, but these top 4, it's tough. You could rearrange them, and any of them could be in the top spot any day of the week.
Yeah. Well, my number 4 is retweet you right here, man. Vengeance 02, the triple threat.
Yeah.
The best 3-way, up to this point, the best 3-way match in WWE, in my opinion.
I agree. Yep.
Hadn't seen a better one up to this point. There's been some that surpassed it to this day, but this is really the start of that really good 3-way, all those finishers to big spots, like you said. So, yeah, same one. It's funny how we landed number 4 is the same.
Right.
So
well,
let's see what our top 3 is then.
We're going to have some similar ones, but my 3 is one you just mentioned. I got a little bit higher versus Rob Van Dam at Vengeance 2001. I liked it beforehand. I loved it watching it back. It felt like nothing else on WWE. It felt like it could have been in ECW, the original ECW. So many great spots and moments in that match. I debated putting it at number 1 at certain points as I was thinking about this list. I enjoyed it so much, but couldn't bump these next 2 out of the top spots. But I definitely thought about it.
No, I dig it, man. I get it. So, my number 3, episode 71, WrestleMania X7, like you just said, Taker and Triple H. I think this is, up to this point, the best Taker match, the best biker Taker match. Like you said, his it's the best WrestleMania of all time. It's his best match at WrestleMania at the time. And again, I had to think these top 3. I had to put myself back and say, when I look back at the biker Taker era, what matches stand out immediately? Which ones come to mind right now without me having to gone with a fine tooth comb? And my top 3 are the top 3 that stand out to me the most. And so it was hard to pick number 2 and 3. Could have flip flopped them either way, but this one was my number 3. So him versus Triple H, like you've already covered, this great match. But yeah, it does have some like a sleepy ref and stuff going back to it. But I just think about, for the time in a snapshot, it was a great match. So
that's a good way to think about it. I like that. That's a good way to narrow this all down. And that one, when you think about it that way, it's one of the most important matches of that run. I think you're absolutely right. All right, dude, I think it's not going to be a surprise what our top 2 is, but it'll be interesting to see if we have them in the same order here. Of course, number 2 for me, it's a tie between Taker's last 2 SummerSlam matches with A-Train and Test. I just couldn't pick between which one of those I enjoyed more. No, in all seriousness, my number 2, this was a very tough choice between these two, basically a coin flip. But I'm going to go with WrestleMania X8 versus Ric Flair as my number 2 match of the Biker Taker era. One of just the biggest, unexpected, awesome matches of all time.
Yeah.
Lowest of expectations, highest of responses and rewards there. Incredible storytelling. Put Ric Flair back on the map after... really a few years of not doing anything significant in WCW. I mean, honestly, and just brought new life to his career for the next few years. And truly, Taker's, in my opinion, his first great WrestleMania match.
Yeah. Yeah, man, my number 2 is that same one. So, which means our number 2 and 1 are probably going to be the same. But, again, I think watching it live, you and I watched it together, watching it, not live in person, but, on pay-per-view, watching Flair's confidence get boosted as the match goes. And then the spine buster, the greatest spine buster of all time. I mean, the best spine buster you are ever going to see. Talk about RKO out of nowhere, spine buster out of nowhere. So, this match is number 2 and just so good. So good. So, number 1 is...
Coming in like a crash of rhinos.
X9.
That's right.
No.
Nathan Jones, I mean, what a specimen. He just came in there. Of course not. It's got to be No Mercy 2002. Yeah. Both of our number 1s for both eras are Hell in a Cell matches.
It's crazy.
Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. It just provides the perfect framework for the Undertaker. Perfect canvas for him to paint a masterpiece, apparently. And the bloodiest of masterpieces. Man, I remembered loving it, and it lived up to it, more than lived up to it, watching it back. Not just the blood, the storytelling, and Heyman on the outside doing his thing. The storytelling of the young guy just not being able, or the old guy not being able to finish off the younger guy, and just awesome job from top to bottom from both these guys. They gave their all.
Yep. This is, when I think of The Undertaker, his original run, I think of Hell in a Cell, Shawn Michaels. When I think of this run, I think of Brock Lesnar, Hell in a Cell. No more. These are the matches to me that define these eras. You're not going to find one that defines them better. And like I said, this is the match I think about with him. So much blood, put over Brock as a monster. Heyman's work was second to none. It's just fantastic. Even I hated the whole broken hand thing going into it, but even that plays a great part in it. It's just great, not just for the blood, but for the storytelling. Take the blood out, it's still a great story, man. I love it, love it. So.
Well, there you have it, folks. Put it on the tombstone right there. The number 1 match of the Biker Taker era is Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, Hell in a Cell, No Mercy 2002, in our opinion, as the two men who have studied his career perhaps more in depth than anyone.